What's up, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're getting back on track. I'm making this video for after Thanksgiving, but it doesn't matter what time it is. It could be fall, it could be winter, it could be the fourth era. We're breaking down what happens when you overeat, why the last thing you want to do is spend hours on the treadmill, and the workout I recommend you do instead. So if you're excited for this video, make sure you shoot me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Before we get started, I wanted to let you know that we are currently running a Black Friday sale on all of my training and nutrition programs. We just overhauled the entire beginner course, including the recipe guides, and I have to say, it looks amazing. Like, it's so satisfying to look at the finished product. So what I'm gonna do is I will link my free body type quiz down below. It takes less than 60 seconds to complete. Once you do that, I'm gonna recommend which program you get, as well as email you your Black Friday discount coupon code. All right, link for that will be down below. I think the biggest fear when it comes to overeating is fat gain. But when you understand how each nutrient is broken down and used within your body, you'll realize that fat gain probably isn't as simple as you thought. Protein is broken down into amino acids and then can be stored when it's used to build muscle or hormones within your body. Carbs are broken down into simple sugars and are then either burned or stored as liver or muscle glycogen, whereas fats are broken down into free fatty acids and are more times than not stored as body fat in your fat cells. In order to gain pure fat, you would have to eat an excess of pure fat. So our goal of today's workout is to use as much of that excess as possible and minimize any spillover storage. This means stimulating muscle protein synthesis so we can put any excess protein to work, depleting your muscle glycogen stores so we can use up those stored carbohydrates, and keeping our overall intensity higher so that any extra simple sugars, carbs that are floating around in our bloodstream, we are burning those off. Spending hours on the treadmill, that's not going to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. It's going to deplete your muscle glycogen way slower, and newsflash, you're not going to be able to maintain intensity beyond like probably the 10-minute mark. I don't know about you, I lose a lot of motivation to maintain that intensity if I'm going really hard beyond that point. Instead, we're keeping the party going. We are celebrating what your body can do right, and we are not feeling grumpy. We are not getting down over what you did wrong with that meal, with whatever landed you watching this video here right now. So if you're excited for this video, make sure you shoot me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and you see that little bell, hit that shit. Today's workout, we're going to focus mainly on lower body, starting with heavy compound movements, then moving into faster paced circuits. I like to take 1 to 2 warm-up sets at a weight I can comfortably lift for 10 to 12 reps. Make sure everything's feeling good, then drop my reps down, start loading on 10-pound plates, and see how high I can work up. I'll write down the exact rep scheme and instructions I follow below, since it can change depending how long you take to warm up and work up to your max weight. Moving into our first circuit, we start with the front foot elevated split squat. Grab your cables, position your back foot about 2 feet from the bench, then curl up the cables so you're gripping them just in front of your shoulders. We're going to initiate the movement by pulling your shoulders down and back, then bending your front knee until it's bent to just below 90 degrees. By elevating the front foot, we're able to get that much deeper of a stretch in our working glute, and as a result, extend the overall range of motion. The only catch is that by elevating the front foot, it becomes a bit tougher to balance, which is why I like using the dual cable tower, since it offers a slightly more stable resistance than performing this with free weights. Next up, we've got the split stance deadlift. Grab the cable on the same side as your working leg, then rest your other hand on your other hip, and make sure you're far enough back from the cable tower so that the handle doesn't hit the base before the bottom of your rep. We're going to initiate the movement by imagining a string pulling your working hip back. As your hip is pulled back, your thigh will follow, causing your knee to bend, and you to feel a gradual stretch building throughout your glutes and thighs. You can position your non-working leg either on the bench or toe pointed on the ground. Either way, your goal should be to keep the emphasis on the working leg. Last exercise in this first circuit, we have got the deficit deadlift. Stepping both legs up onto the bench, grab the cables, then position yourself so the balls of your feet are as close to in line with the cables as possible. Initiate the movement by sitting back at your hips, keeping your chest high as you lower, then lowering as far as your machine or your mobility will allow. This exercise is all about the pump. We want to finish this circuit strong, so really focus on keeping a steady speed throughout the range of motion, steady lower, smooth transition, then steady raise back up. Moving into our second circuit, we're doing a squat to hip hinge. Here, I'm using the same dual cable setup, but instead of one handle on each cable, I've taken the handle off one and just clipped that right attachment directly onto the left handle. If you look closely, you'll be able to see it. Grabbing the handle, curl the weight up to your chest, and wrap one hand around each side. Initiate the movement by keeping your chest high, lowering down into a squat, then once you've reached the bottom of the squat, keeping your hips back and raising back up as you would from a deadlift. The way I like to think of this is as half squat, half deadlift. We're essentially getting the best glute portions of each movement. Next up, we've got the cable kneeling squat. Stepping in behind the cables, center the handle across your low belly, then move forward so that you can still feel tension in the cable when your butt is all the way back resting on your heels. From there, we're going to initiate the movement by keeping your chest high and squeezing your glutes to move your hips forward. It's important you use your glutes and not your abs or low back muscles to force this movement. Visualize your body as a hinge, with your hips being the pivot point and your upper body being the rigid board that moves about it. We want to keep that back flat and let your glutes do the work. For our last exercise in this circuit, we have the cable donkey kick. This is where this single handle setup really comes in handy. Get down on your hands and knees, position your knees about 1 foot in front of the cable, then move 1 foot up so that the handle is sitting right in the ball of your foot. Initiate the movement by drawing your core in, think belly button to your spine, then pressing your foot up towards the ceiling. Here, I'm kicking slightly out to the side as I found this helps me better engage my glutes rather than my low back. Finally, we are finishing this workout with a landmine complex. I will write the exact exercises and reps below, but the goal here is to make one final intensity push, hitting the entire body without any rest between exercises, as in the bar is not allowed to touch the ground. This was so challenging, I saw it online, I wanted to try it, I tried it, it was really tough. I mean, you could easily swap this out for something like treadmill sprints or HIIT, but this was what I felt like trying today, and so I ran with it. I know I'll be back on my regular routine soon, so I'm really just enjoying myself and doing things that feel good. What's up? Hello, you made it to the end of the video. Congrats. We are already sticking to a workout plan, kind of. I mean, you watched the video, but you're halfway there. Anyways, before we go, I just want to remind you, you don't have to train to eat. You don't have to pre-burn off the calories that you think you're gonna eat later in the day. That is a vicious cycle. And you'll never feel like you've done enough because you'll do that, you'll become tired, you'll become hungry, you'll eat a thing, you'll feel guilty for eating the thing, I can't talk. You'll do more cardio, you'll eat another thing, and it becomes the cycle of you just not having a good time living life in your body. No, let's treat our body in a way that feels good, let's move our bodies in a way that feels good, and let's eat foods that taste nice without guilt or punishment or any of that. Deal? I cannot hear you. I'm gonna assume that it's a deal. I will remind you that my programs, all my workout and nutrition programs, are on a Black Friday sale right now. So if you click the link in the description box below, that will take you to my free body type quiz, less than 60 seconds to complete. And once you do that, I will recommend a program for you, as well as email you your Black Friday coupon code. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving if you're watching this around the regular time. Otherwise, I hope to see you in my next video.